Bruno Ratch. I want Wolves to get what I want better every day. The inspiration is here and here. It's the pens, the things, the organization, the colors, Bruno Ratch said. We are in his office at Wolverhampton Wanderers training ground, and he is talking about his father, Fernando Ratch do Nascimento. Dad was a coach too, and still serves as a local secretary of the Portuguese League Managers Association. Dad was organized, which is why Ratch's desk is neatly arranged with pens and pots, clean notepads and papers filed away in color-coordinated binders. It is why there are 4 white tactics boards on the wall, one for in possession, one for out of possession, the others for transitions and set pieces. Inscribed are precise arrows denoting the movements required from players, and together they comprise the game plan with which Wolves eviscerated Manchester United last week. Ratch remembers watching, with his younger brother, Luis Nascimento, as Dad prepared the next day's training sessions at home. When he was 14, he was allowed to go and watch them. Their father never made it beyond Portugal's lower leagues, but he inspired Bruno and Luis to follow his trade, and Luis is next door, in the busy coach's room, where another neat set of binders contains a thick file on every Wolves player. Luis is one of Bruno's assistants, with Dad regularly journeying from Setúbal to Molineux to see his son's increasingly accomplished team play. The 1-0 win at Old Trafford last Monday followed a well-plotted draw against Chelsea and impressive victory away to Brighton. This eye-catching run suggests Ratch's credo of improving bit by bit, day by day through attention to detail and unremitting work, is getting Wolves somewhere. Witnessing his fastidiousness, but also his charisma, close up, suggests the upward trajectory will not stop. The next game may be only Sheffield United in the FA Cup, but Ratch takes both competition and opponents very seriously, and training is meticulous, dynamic. Despite driving sleet, his squad play a high-tempo practice game while he stalks around in black tracksuit, hat and snood, nearly always on the move. Sometimes he stops play to enter the field and demonstratively give instructions. At other times he asks one of his staff, strategically dotted in different places, to ask what they are seeing. Halfway through, there is a change of pitch dimensions to keep players challenged, and the lineup switch. Markel, Leander Dendoncker and Nelson Semedo, and all trialed as third centre-back as Ratch seeks a stand-in for Romain Sess, who is at the Africa Cup of Nations. Ratch stresses that Wolves coaching is a team effort. His 6-man staff chip in to create strategies like the one that downed United, exploiting the wide spaces unprotected in Ralph Rangnick's 4-2-2-2. They study opponents closely, paying particular attention to their games against teams with systems similar to Wolves' 3-4-3. They continually re-examine matches, and Ratch fires up his laptop to show a set of clips and bar charts from Monday's game. There are about 15 red bars and 15 green ones. The reds denote different aspects of Wolves' play out of possession, and include pressing from the back and positioning when their goalkeeper has the ball. The greens are for in-possession aspects of play, such as build-up with 3, shootin' and transition. The darker the bar, the more Wolves exhibited a good behavior. Lighter ones show a bad behavior, which needs to be worked on in training. One of the first things Ratch asked for, after replacing Nuno Espirito Santo in June, was for a room at the training ground to be converted into an auditorium for tactical meetings and showing players clips. All this exactitude could make some characters puff-faced, but Ratch has the ability to talk about fine detail with infectious energy. With players, he keeps it brief. It's no good to give too much information, he said. An example of how I do it: after training, I go home and watch the analysis. I call Ruben over at breakfast. When you have time, come and take 2 minutes with me, and we watch 2 or 3 images. This is what I want from you. In this moment, I want that position, I said. And that's it. With another player, I wanted him to look at a midfielder from another team. That time it was by sending clips to his WhatsApp. Oddly, when Ratch played himself, he had none of this assiduousness. I was a winger who could only run and cross. He grinned. I joke with my friends that if I spent the time on football than that I now spend as a coach, then maybe I could have played a bit. I was not lazy, but when it got to October, November, and the weather became like this, I missed training. I preferred to stay home or play in the street with friends or go to the club. I didn't have the motivation. But when I went to the other side, from the day I started until now, I don't think I have missed one training session. I found my real passion. Playing never amounted to more than amateur stuff. Ratch began coaching at 21, in the youth section of his local club, Vitória Setúbal, where he met his mentor, Jamie Graca, after whom his eldest son is named. Graca took him to Fazendens as an assistant, and at 25 Ratch took charge of his own side, Comércio e Indústria. They were 4th-tier semi-pros, and his striker was 10 years his senior. He started his career with my father. He had known me as a kid, and there I was working with him. Most of the players had jobs in construction, and we trained in the evening. For guys like that, you have to create a good session, for if someone has been at work, then you give them an hour of training without the ball, why should they come? My first idea, even today, is that if I don't like an exercise myself, I never give it to my players. Football is always training with the ball. After assisting at 2 Portuguese third division clubs, he spent 8 years as a Benfica youth coach before becoming under-19 and under-23 coach of Al Ahly in Dubai. The experience of working outside Portugal and with the club's technical director, Carlos Carvalho, changed his life. The pair wrote a book together and Carvalho took him to Sheffield Wednesday, then Swansea as his assistant before Lage returned to Portugal to coach Benfica B. Half a season later Lage found himself first-team manager after the dismissal of Rui Vitória. He embarked on a remarkable run of 18 wins and a draw to pip Porto to the 2018-19 title before adding the Portuguese Super Cup. After a less successful second season, he left Benfica in 2020 and came to Wolves without his family because his wife, Maria, a master's graduate who finished her education in England, has an important job at Portugal's National Bank. She and their sons, Jamie and Manuel, stayed with him in Wolverhampton over the festive period, but when we speak on Thursday he says, this is their last day. Today I go home early because it's snowing and Jamie always wanted to see snow. Do I miss them? Yes, especially at night. That's the hardest part. But look, I chose my job, my wife chose her job. I work hard but sometimes when I come home at 8 p.m. she is still working too. We understand each other. When I came to England the first time, I had a fantastic experience with Carlos. But I thought, I'm 43, my kid is 3 and I've missed all his birthdays, all his parties, so maybe I go home, relax and start to put together my staff for the future, for when I am a manager. But after 6 months I get the call to go to the first team and now here we are again, at Wolves, away from home, away from my kid. But I don't have plans for my life. I want to be happy. I want to work in a happy place, and here the environment is very good, and the most important thing is the daily work. If I don't wake in the morning, go somewhere and have players to train, it is a disaster for me. Wolves' progress under Lage is founded on having the second meanest defense in the Premier League, but scoring has been an issue, and they have been called the binary team thanks to their past 8 games finishing 1-0, 0-0, or 0-1. This belies the attacking emphasis evident at training, where Lage is heartened by a potent session from Fabio Silva, a young striker showing encouraging signs of maturing. Lage is coaching Adama Traore to attack more on the inside and likes the progress he is seeing. We have top players, but, if you go through the seasons, apart from Raul, their average of scoring goals is not high. We are working hard every day on it. I would worry if the team were not creating chances. What made him happiest about Wolves' past 3 games, beyond their consistency, was the improvement in how they used the ball. The Premier League. Look at our December, he smiled. We play Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man U and Brighton, who are one of the best teams. Where in the world do you have that experience in 1 month? Playing against those teams and those managers. That's why this is such an experience and why I say, all the time, enjoy the moment. Give the best that you have in that moment and take the experience and use it for the next challenge. My ambition for Wolves is simple. I want for Wolves what I want for my own career, and that's to be better every day. We've come from a good performance to a good training session, with goals, and that's what I want for tomorrow. We build up our pathway, me and Wolves, with solid things.